is the Dean of School of International Studies at Jawaharlal Nehru University in New Delhi. He joins us live now from New Delhi. Thanks for joining us. All right, this is remarkable that ministers could not agree on this deal that China carefully laid out as being a win-win, as it usually does. What happened?
Well, today's press briefing by China's Foreign Minister Wang and Fiji Prime Minister, it went on for about 30 minutes, and suddenly they have gone away from the press briefing as the questions from the media personnel and others began in the aftermath of this briefing. This suggests that there is actually a lot of tension between the common development mission, so-called, because that has been proposed by China to these 10 Pacific countries. There is a lot of dissonance within these 10 countries. First was the David Panuelos, the president of Micronesia. He wrote a letter 10 days ago suggesting that China is going to take control over the law and order, traditional and non-traditional security issues, telecommunication network, and also on the police training, law enforcement, fisheries, internet, and so on and so forth. So the letter by the president of Micronesia had created a lot of dissonance within the Pacific countries. And that is what is visible in this press briefing today in Fiji. So this is a major setback in terms of the China-Pacific countries, proposals. Of course, many Pacific countries are looking for investments, FDI, and technology flows. They're also looking for soft loans to tide over some of the problems that are facing, and it appears only China was offering. Although in a long-term perspective, there is a problem about debts that most Pacific countries are actually now facing vis-a-vis China. For instance, the Tonga's debt to China is nearly 1/3 of its GDP. So many countries are falling into this trap. But of course, they need capital, technology, and infrastructure projects.
Okay, so when we saw China successfully seal a deal with the tiny nation of the Solomon Islands, alarm bells rang across the region, especially Australia, the US. But what was China offering that these other countries could not or did not? Should they have done more to entice a country like the Solomon Islands away from the influence of China? Did they care enough to do so?
Well, this is part of the Beijing consensus and Washington consensus. This is a lot of tension between these two. Washington consensus wants structural reforms and rolling off the current account deficits and also no child labor, human rights related issues, no corruption, and so on and so forth. While Beijing consensus suggests that we do not want to interfere in your internal affairs, take this money, invest in infrastructure, and so on. However, in the long term, as we saw Sri Lankan case or Pakistan case, where the debts have been rising, also Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan, and Tonga, as I just mentioned, this indicates that Beijing consensus also has a lot of negative aspects which they are not willing to acknowledge. So that results in a lot of problems for the recipient countries, as we also see in the Belt and Road Initiative projects in different parts of the world. And so Beijing consensus also has a problem that needs to be addressed. But it doesn't appear that Foreign Minister Wang Yi's visit had led to any resolution of those rapacious policies in Beijing consensus.
All right, Srikanth Kondapalli, thanks for joining us.